Wolf gang, where you at, man? Wolfie. Wolf gang, where you at, man? Wolfie.
How you doing, pretty lady? My name is Spesh, Bo Rock on the vocals, now it's time to finesse. Let me start by complimenting the way you look in that dress. Pretty brown eyes, bright, full of success. I'm the type to take your heels up, put your foot on my chest, massage your feet, then your body. My hands is the best. I feel blessed to be in the presence of a princess. It's only right for a king to wanna invest, cause ain't nothing like a lady. Really just a lady riding around in her Mercedes or Toyota with her baby, working hard on a daily. Fly Holly Bailey, rock star like Swaley, leave your side, they couldn't pay me. Say we go out a few more times. Loving hip hop, she a Jessica Dime, so thick with it. I had to get with it. Falling in love, girl, yeah, I must admit it.
Welcome to my arms, where I hold you tight every night. Just give me your heart, and I promise that I'll do you right.
She my biggest fan, you're my woman, I'm your man. Headed to Bahamas, see us leaving flatland. Spend the night by the sand, ring on her left hand. Have your family caravan, it's a celebration. Soul food, Caribbean food too. Now let's creep away for a sec so I can feed you as we proceed to make love movie sequel. Baby, I see you while you're playing peekaboo. Sometimes when you sleep, I just gotta peek at you. And when you wake up, there's so many things that we can do. With chocolate strawberries, lip gloss, raspberry, lipstick, tastes like cherry. All that wagon that you carry, wrapped in Burberry, real love's necessary. Ask Mariah Carey, I oblige like Mary. I think we should get married, cruise through life like Terry. Be together till we bury.
Oh, welcome, yeah, welcome to my arms, where I hold you tight every night. Just give me your heart, and I promise that I'll do you right. Welcome to my arms, where I hold you tight every night.
What up? Mic check. 1 2 1 2. This is. What's up? Wolfgang, I'm a dad. You said you've been sharing the video. That's what's up. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. Everybody in the building on a Sabado, right? Where you at, Jag? You there? How come you not? I don't see you.
Salud.
Hold on. What's good? What is up? Oh, my bad. I was trying to actually come in with something different, but obviously I didn't come in right. Didn't come in right and exact. Didn't come in correct. But it's all good, y'all. Appreciate y'all here. Let me put you on the stage. You know how it is. Somebody said they want to hear you and not me. Crazy. Yeah. Well, they said that on your channel. That's what they said. They said it on your channel. But this
I
is
mean, I hear all kinds of things, and okay, I don't know who this is, but welcome to the channel. And for those who don't know, we don't encourage people putting all caps in the chat. It actually slows down engagement. We leave our cap using for our people that have wrenches. If you do not have a wrench, please do not use all caps in the chat.
yeah. Do not use all caps, y'all. Welcome. But I appreciate you.
And
And
you know, and we hear your comment. I'm just not commenting on it.
you say we're quiet. What's going on, Patricia Blair? What's up, Auntie Leah? You say we're quiet. What's going on? No, Yvonne. Now somebody. So what's been going on? It's just a whole bunch of people that have just they want to have they just want to have dissension. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it is. I was just addressing that. It's a joke though. You know what I'm saying? Joyful. Appreciate you. Fran, Claudia, appreciate you. And yeah, that's it. Like I said, my bad, y'all. I was planning on doing something else, coming in with something different, but it's all good. I mean, regardless to what the information is going to be great. Look. I said it yesterday, what I was planning to do, and then I said, you know what, I'm gonna just add a little bit more to it because it's all in relation. It's all tied in. It's all tied in. Trust and believe. Welcome, though. Welcome. This is Set in the West. I'm Wolfgang Amadeus. Got Jaguar right in the building. She wasn't supposed to come up. I ain't gonna say she wasn't supposed to. She didn't want to come up. I had to beg her.
You did.
I'm just. Yeah, but
I was gonna say I missed all of that. Can you tell me how it went?
No, I appreciate your I didn't even see the notes, but I guess it's all good because I kind of want to get your take on what it is that I'm saying and where it is that I'm going with this conversation.
Well, I mean, I think it would be a bad idea to send me notes since what I am is the queen of sharing unfounded accusations and rumors and no real information. That's
no, that ain't
told.
that ain't the case. That's what that's what these weirdos be saying. Thank you,
Wait a minute,
Leilani Arrington.
Yes, Leilani, salute. Can we just take 5 minutes to talk about how crazy our online life gets every time I do a
real life
couch
a blue couch?
interview?
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. Now, hold on. Let me do something real quick because for whatever reason, and I didn't even want to do it like this, but okay. Check
Well, you
this
know,
out.
I like being in a circle.
There we go. That's even better. All right. I wasn't trying to block.
No, I'm. By the way, I'm monitoring and viewing us. You know, on the monitor, and so for those who are on their TV, it's the vertical. So that's what we got over here.
Well, on the Set in the West, LA, that you know, it's not vertical. It's the regular. It's actually both. I put both of them. But I'm just trying something. Set in the West, LA, or just Set in the West. Period. Got vertical. We got the vertical. Somebody said, "What's this? Did you see my comment I posted a long time ago about Garrigo secretly representing KK and covering it up with attorney-client privilege?"
Oh, I can definitely believe that. Like, they're going to do whatever they have to do to be as silent and covert in any way, shape, or form possible these days. Like, that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, that's the name of the game now. That's just pretty much how they move. Yeah, that's how they move it. Is the professor coming? No, you know what? it's kind of, well, I ain't gonna say last minute because I think he would pull up, but I wouldn't be disrespectful to like that anyway. Plus, if when I set something up for Jag and Professor Griff, that got to be special. So it'll happen. I think it's gonna happen. But yeah, we let me lay this out first. And in fact, we might be able to get let's just show Professor Griff some love. First off, I'm gonna be reading from this book here, the Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop, and I'm just pretty much gonna go into chapter 2. So I'll probably do deeper dives in a lot of the conversation, a lot of the text that he put in his book. So I would advise people to go and get his book. And here, like, again, here's the book: The Illuminati Takeover of Hip Hop, the Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop. And he has another book called Symbology. He got a children's book too. I think I got that book from my daughter. Yeah, like I'm not mad at Griff and his creativity, so salute. If y'all really want to show love, go get his book, and then we could do deeper dives. I can do lives like this, and you guys can come up and we can talk about a few things, because in all honesty, this information, when he dropped it, I mean, it was crazy. And then it's like, now this information, it's like, this is just like just knowledge that you should just have in general. If you're really talking about understanding how this game is played, just like I was telling Jag yesterday, I didn't know, we say Kashif, I'm sorry, wrote the book and everything you need to know about the record biz, and that book made me go, oh, I'm cool, I ain't trying to do this record business. I love the art, I love the culture, I'm gonna just do that.
Is my dyslexia rubbing off on you?
It is.
You sure said Shakif.
I know, I was tripping. Yeah. But I wanted to talk about elements of this book and talk about the tie-in of what Dave Chappelle said regarding Nipsey Hussle. So if you guys don't know, Dave Chappelle in his last special, and everybody's been talking about it. It's been going crazy, you know, as far as commentary. You say, y'all know the Professor Broad. Wait, what? You know, yeah, I know. I know. I can tell you. Look, I know a lot about Dr. Umar, and I ain't got nothing bad to really say about him. I'm gonna call some ish out though. But one of my OGs, shout out to Ross Bob. He's the one that brought him out to LA, the first one to bring him out to LA. And I was there. I think this was like, what, 2012, 2011, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, and Griff has always shown us love, shown me love. And Griff knows Ross Bob and them too. So shout out to my family out here that, you know, that been bringing cats out the lecture circuit, been doing it for years. So yeah, I know about Professor bringing out Dr. Umar. I was talking to you a little bit about the whole Dr. Umar stuff when we were just talking about Tariq Nasheed, and you say Umar's from Philly, right? Is he from Philly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense, because then, you know, I mentioned Sabir Bey. He was in Hidden Colors 1. I think Umar was in Hidden Colors 1 as well. Both Philly dudes. Interesting. Very
Salute
interesting.
to I Believe. Thank you, darling.
Oh, I appreciate that. Is that lira? Is that pounds? Whatever it is, I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate whatever, and it's and you're a member for 9 months. Gratitude. I appreciate you. Yeah, you guys in for a treat. Griff he'll pop up soon one of these days. I'll make that a thing. I'll make it happen.
Honestly, it should be a members only conversation for this channel.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we have it set up where we're ready to, you know, receive him and receive all of his knowledge, because the truth is you can't really just have a light conversation with Griff.
Mm-mm.
He's not the king of light conversation. He's going to come
Nah.
with it heavy. And we need to make sure that we have, everyone in the room who is literally there for the information. It's so
Mm-hmm.
funny when I see some of those comments of people saying, "Oh, I only want to hear this person," or "I only want to talk to this person," or "You should do it this way," or "You should do it that way." I find it cute that people think that just because the app is red color, that means this is like McDonald's, and you just get to pull up in the drive-through and get your content however you want it. That's not the way it works.
Nah.
More importantly than that, I think a lot of people get caught up in presentation and they miss the point of what communication is for, and it's to exchange the information. If you're not there listening to the information, then that's something that you have to hold yourself accountable for. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
we have to stop being so light minded that we need things to be favorable to listen. What if
Mm-hmm.
the most important information you've ever heard in your life is coming from someone, well, voices like this, you know what I'll be at. Now, don't get me wrong, that might be annoying as hell. You might not want to hear it. It might just drive you insane. But what if it's the most important information of your life? Like you have to hold yourself accountable for how you're receiving information. But I
Yeah.
digress.
Yeah. And Griff will come through. It might be 8 hours because that's how he get down, and I appreciate. Like some people can't sit still for 15 minutes. We already 16 minutes into this one, and I'm pretty sure you got some people fidgeting and stuff. But yeah, we'll make it happen though. But so before we get started, you said you wanted to talk about our online life, or the stuff, the things, the trials and tribulations
Life
of
after
that.
life after the blue couch.
Let's talk about it. You there?
I'm here. No, somebody said something. You better get your affairs in order. Okay. I guess that's one way to
No,
look at it.
we talking about TMZ does a documentary on you. We talking about Umar?
I just think period in general.
Well,
I
yeah.
think they're talking about the manner in which how TMZ lightweight, either they're lining you up for success or lining you up for failure, or maybe both at the same time.
A lot of times it's the first. It ain't the latter. I mean, would you say first? You said success or failure? First
Well,
is success.
I mean,
No,
the
it's
thing
usually
is
the latter.
they're lining you up for their success, but for your failure.
Your failure. There you go. Exactly. Yep, like you said, Michael Jackson, Britney, Wendy, boom. But
Yeah.
yeah, speaking of, it's funny the TMZ situation, because if we're talking about the online life after the blue couch and stuff that happens,
Hmm.
yeah, we I think we're gonna really get some things. We got to get some balls rolling. No Diddy, next year regarding certain people who have actually propagated lies to get you on TMZ.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's got to get dealt with. But yeah, it's been a whole bunch of dogpiling and just attacks after Jaguar hit the blue couch. Now the first
I think I
one
made
she
my
did,
first comment, like my first comment. Welcome over here. Welcome, you're a West Sider. What's going on, A
hey
Reed?
Reed, and she
Um,
said she's not Antonia Reed. She said that, so
I
she's
know.
not trolling. Appreciate you. She's always here. Appreciate it.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
Um, no, we were saying just talking about the crazy nature of how people like they move, and it's
Mm-hmm.
wild because it's like every time I share like hardcore information, we get probably the biggest amount of like hate, like the
Yeah.
biggest amount of hate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just kind of wild because you would think that, all right, so for so many years, people were, oh, she's crazy, oh, she's this, oh, she's that. I know how to deliver a line. I know I have good humor. I
Mm-hmm.
have good comedic timing. I know how to slip the truth in. You know what I mean? Uncomfortable truths into things that people would consider funny. I mean, I use the same kind of quips that your everyday comedian would, and it's so funny because I say something, people want to judge me for it. But let's look at Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at Dave, like for real. Like he said some really, really, really off the cuff things, especially right now during this climate,
Mm-hmm.
that if I were to say something like that, I would be vilified for it.
Oh man.
And,
Man.
I'm sitting there looking, and somebody was, just talking about the way he handled the Cassie conversation. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking to myself, like, I guess everyone is forgetting, or maybe some of these people were too young to remember. Dave Chappelle has been disrespectful to victims, period. Like, I've never seen him be respectful of a victim, ever. And I'm going to rewind and go all the way back to the early 2000s when R. Kelly was being charged and being vilified for that videotape of him
Yeah.
when he was relieving himself of, his water in a little girl's mouth and face. And it's kind of crazy because I'm just thinking of the similarities. There's just certain similarities that are just kind of interesting. The obsession with urinating on people. That's just kind of wild. But and urinating in people's faces and mouths. It's just kind of wild. But people may not remember Dave Chappelle's show was pretty hot at that time, and he did a whole expose video where he took the Ignition song and he remixed it into I'm gonna pee on you. I'm gonna
Mm.
pee on you and pee 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 ooh ooh ooh, and he was doing the whole thing. Meanwhile, this is a 1-3-year-old person that he's making fun of,
Yeah.
and making fun of what happened and making light of what happened. So Dave has been doing this. This is nothing new for anyone who's paying attention. And that's interesting. It's kind of funny how, people are on the whole, oh yeah, Cassie's not a victim. Cassie's not a victim. Cassie's not a victim. She got money. Cassie's not a victim. Like even Dave, when he went as far as saying, oh, what happened to her was terrible. But man, I've seen guys get paid a whole lot less money for being in a fight. And I'm sitting there like, okay, that's an interesting way of saying it. That's an interesting way of putting it. So you're going to sit there and say that number one, he capped on the numbers. He lied on the numbers. He said that, Puff gave her 35 million. I seen dudes get paid a whole lot less money to be in a fight and yada yada yada. Puffy didn't give her 35 million. She didn't get 35 million. She got 20 million that he paid right away within 24 hours. And let's not
Mm-hmm.
forget who her lawyer is. Her lawyer is Wigdor. These are some of the most expensive attorneys in the game. So they're going to be collecting at least a third of
Yeah.
that. She still is going to have
Mhm.
to pay taxes on that money. The government is going to look for their third of that, which leaves her with a third. So let's do the math. $20 million. 10% of that would be $2 million. And we're talking about a third. A third. So 2/3 of that money. So what's that? 2 times 6, that's about 18 million gone
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
out of that 20. And let's just say I'm overshooting it. Let's just say that between having to pay taxes on that money and having to pay her lawyers and her PR reps and all of that, out of that $20 million, she's probably only going to be able to keep like 5.
Mm-hmm.
She got the
Yeah.
other 10 million almost a year later from the hotel. And he still put dubs on it and said it was 35 million and it all came from Puff. Not true. Out of that $30 million, she's probably, possibly, maybe she might get to keep 8 to 10. Maybe. The rest of that money's gone.
Yeah.
Gone. So once again, like the way he set it up, the way he framed just that, like, and that's what I was saying before. People are angry that she got money.
Yeah.
That's what they're really mad about.
Yeah. Mm.
That's what they're really mad about. They're really mad that she got the money. And that's why every time I hear people say that, oh, she ain't no victim, she got paid. She ain't no victim, she got all that money. She ain't no victim, she got all that money. But this is what happens when, you know what I'm saying, you're dealing with sexual crimes and stuff like that. Because if that had been like a class action lawsuit for medical malpractice, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or if, her children had been, taken up out of here because they got hit by a truck, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but because it's sexual, all of a sudden, because she was in a relationship with him, all of a sudden, she's no victim because she got paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just kind of wild. So listening to him say, you know what I'm saying? I've seen people, get paid less money for being in a fight. But what we watched wasn't a fight.
Right.
That wasn't Clarissa Shields in that video.
Right. Right.
That wasn't.
No. And see, y'all, look.
Like that wasn't, I didn't see a fight. To even frame it as a fight is funny. What I saw was a girl who snuck out of a hotel room with no shoes on, and a couple of bags, covered up, trying to get away as quietly as possible, then waiting to put her shoes on at the elevator. You know what I'm saying? I saw a girl getting drugged, had paws put on her, had feet put on her. Like, that's what I saw. That's not a fight. She wasn't even fighting back. So for him to sit there and just like belittle that in that way, that was kind of wild. But because it came from him, and because he said it cool, and because he was sitting up there in front of an audience with people that were validating him, like it was okay. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in America, where we listen to things and we're just so easy to accept disinformation and ignorance and run with it. Like nobody's even talking about that. Like nobody's talking about the fact that a lot of the stuff that he was saying was kind of like there was a lot of disinformation going on there. Okay, I'm just gonna let Life Sucks know. Like, that's your final warning.
We'll handle these people. We ain't.
I was just saying, final warning. That's it. I'm not discussing it. I'm not talking about it. That's it.
And let me say this. So I was supposed to play something else to set up this conversation differently, but Jag is setting it up cool too. This is not this is examining the content and or the context of Dave Chappelle and what he said, and don't get it twisted. Dave Chappelle is not like a Malcolm X. He's a comedian, so we understand the satire side of it. But and again, this isn't even an attack on Dave Chappelle. This is examining the context. And what Jag is saying is like she started out by saying, you know, she will get dragged all down his internet streets by saying certain stuff. And you do have a comedic twist with a lot of the stuff that you're saying. One of my homies was, oh man, Jag need to get into comedy. A lot of people have come to you and said you need to get into comedy because I think I think it'll just land different and better. Some of the stuff that you're saying, if it was comedic. So Dave does that though. He will say things, and the way it lands, it makes sense. And this, like I said, this is not an attack on his set. Nobody's looking at him like, oh, like I said, he's not a Malcolm X, like or you know, any of the Babas or any of the, you know, like he's a comedian. We right now we're just gonna talk about some stuff that has been touched up on about within the media. It's been documented, written about, and even acknowledged by law enforcement itself. And Dave Chappelle even said it, where, you know, he talked about the FBI lights and stuff like that. If you guys haven't seen his special, I'm only really highlighting with this conversation when he talked about the hip hop cops and the FBI lights and them taking pictures when he was at certain events, certain clubs, and he's like, you know, people pull him to the side and say, hey, you know, they monitoring people, they taking pictures. And so he's talking about what we're talking about, a monitored cultural force, hip hop, because Dave is a part of hip hop. But Professor Griff wrote about this years ago, the Psychological Covert War on hip hop. And I'm just really going to be talking about the chapter 2, where he names something most people still don't even want to talk about, the hip hop police. And it's tied in with that conversation that Dave had on Netflix, his last special. And then he mentioned Nipsey Hussle. I was going to compartmentalize and not even talk about the Nipsey Hussle reference, but I said, nah, this all got to go because it all makes sense. So I'm going to be citing the book. I'm not going to be speculating. And we're discussing the systems, not the rumors. Jag set it up good though, because we're just examining the context of his comedy. And y'all gotta look at her old video where she's talking about, not old, it's a recent one where she's talking about the propaganda, the unstoppable propaganda. Put a lot of jewels in there as well. You get what I'm saying? Somebody said like Family Guy joke, but everything true. Yeah, you know. You know
what trips me out though, just before you get started, because I just want to address this. You know, there are so many people that have gotten to the point where they like to judge what qualifies someone to be a victim or not.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just kind of wild. You know, when I think about George Floyd, the way people attacked what happened to him and the way the end of his life was, you know, judged and overly evaluated to a certain extent. You know, a lot of people said that he deserved what happened to him because of the way things were going on that day. You know, the counterfeit $20 bill, his antics at the bodega that he was at, or whatever the case may be. The reason why they had to call, the police in the first place, like all of that. Even after he passed away, people who were keeping for the right and, trying to make Derek Chauvin look like he wasn't liable. People
Mhm.
saying that, oh, well, he had the Fetty Wap in his system and that's
Mhm.
what took him out. Whoopty whoopty woo, yada yada yada, and saying, oh well, it had nothing to do with the knee on his neck. It had everything to do with his lifestyle choices, with his this, with his that. How is that any different than what people are doing to Cassie?
I guess the way, and that's a whole nother topic.
No, but
because,
do you see what I'm saying though?
yeah, because it's circumstantial with him. I mean, obviously, this just straight misandry, black misandry. Hating on a man. If he had drug problems, because whatever. Of course, they're going to highlight that. They're doing the same thing with Cassie, where her affiliation to or her connection to Diddy didn't make, and any of her participation didn't make her a victim. It made her whatever. But no, technically, look at it. She was hired by this guy to do music, but she ended up doing other things. It's so
she did a lot more of the other things than she ever did of any music.
Yeah.
Her likeness was used. She was pretty much exploited the entire time she was with him. And she was a young person. So from the age of 19 to the age of 29, you know what I mean? Her life was being just choreographed by this person. And we have all of the people around who saw all of the things that were going on. Some people want to say, oh, I had no idea what was happening. Some people say we all knew what was going on. You know what I mean? Like, everybody is, weighing in about this one person, but it doesn't change the fact that there was a power dynamic that was out of control.
Yeah.
It was out of control. Exactly. Somebody just said in the chat, Waffle said, the girl had a 10-album deal.
Yeah.
For what? For what? For me and you? I
mean, and like I said, in retrospect, listening to that song, I'm a reserve my but yeah, 10 albums is crazy. That was a slave contract, a sex slave. How about that?
Exactly. Especially considering she did not have the ability or the capability to be able to turn that out realistically.
Oh, side note. Someone said, Jag, we need more videos. Where you been? Jag's been at, you got to go to the Jaguar Right Effect, and she's dropping videos weekly. She got her podcast too, Jaguar Right Uncensored. She got the Jaguar Right Show. Go search all that on YouTube and Rumble, and where that's where Jag's been. If you're missing out. But yeah, back to the conversation.
No, but I just wanted to just look at the way people like to take things and frame things, and the way people like to say, oh, such and such isn't a victim, such and such isn't a victim, such and such isn't a victim. Oh, well, they were involved in this, they were involved in that, such and such wasn't a victim. Meanwhile, you have people who are heralded as victims who don't even deserve victim status, but it's given to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah,
it's like we have to really pay attention to the propaganda that goes along with who we give our sympathy to and who we don't give our sympathy to, and why.
Okay, but my bad. I'm over here trying to get this together. Yeah, we got to be careful. We definitely got to be careful of who receives what sympathy. Diddy definitely doesn't receive no sympathy for the diddler.
It's wild. It's wild because he's getting plenty of it.
So let's go. Let's move on though. Let's definitely move on, because I want to get right to what everybody was, what they're here for. The hip hop police, Professor Griff and the hip hop police. I'm gonna just basically talk about the documented facts, the historical precedent about hip hop, and it was earlier identified as a political and cultural influence, and how law enforcement units were created to monitor artists, track lyrics, attend shows, collect intelligence, and they were justified under gang prevention, organized crime, public safety, and most importantly, it's not uniquely a hip hop thing, because similar programs existed for black activists, labor organizers, anti-war movement people, civil rights leaders. They sure as hell ain't did that for the feminists, but that's a whole nother combo. But Griff goes into this with this book, and here it is. This is page about 35, the second degree, and it says here, it's the topic right there. It says hip hop COINTEL profiles, rap sheets, and the hip hop cop.
Mm-hmm.
And my man goes into it real heavy, because as I'm rereading this, I'm like, oh man, he's mentioning people that I can call on the phone. So like, again, shout out to Griff. He mentioned the whole situation with NWA and how they were attacked. And I'll read that. I'll read it. But he gets into it. He starts out with this quote from Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney, and counterculture, COINTELPRO attacks on political musicians. So it says here, many of us know Cynthia McKinney has been the foremost of Congress to explore, investigate, and educate the public regarding the FBI's counterintelligence program. That's counterintelligence program COINTELPRO. And it was infamously ran by former FBI head J. Edgar Hoover, or some people call him Gay Edgar Hoover. And the funny thing is Cash Patel this week, what's up, LP? Cash Patel this week, they have closed the J. Edgar Hoover building. That's interesting. But yeah, they did. He said that. But for the he said for the past 5 years, black electorates, the COINTELPRO is in full effect with the Patriot Act 1 and 2. So he just goes on and talks about what the acronym for COINTELPRO is and what it's designed to do. It's designed to neutralize political dissidents. And, covert operations have been employed throughout FBI's history. The formal COINTELPRO of the 1956 to 71 was broadly targeted against radical political organizations. So I can mainly remember in the late 60s, they went heavy on the Panthers. But it says here in the early 50s, the Communist Party was illegal in the United States. The Senate and the House representatives each set up investigating committees to prosecute communists and publicly expose them. And he gets into the history of it. That's why I say just get the book, because you really want to kind of okay, you get and Griff is great at breaking down the historical context. You know what I'm saying? But then, then like I said, he talks about what they did to the Panthers in the late 60s, early 70s. And, they said the FBI conducted more than 2,000 COINTELPRO operations before the programs were officially discontinued in April of 1971 after public exposure in order to afford additional security to their sensitive techniques and operations. So, he had the Black Nationalist Hate Group prevent the rise of a Black Messiah. The use of the JDL against them, the use of La Cosa Nostra, that's the mafia, y'all. He breaks it down. He said, William O'Neill. If y'all don't know who William O'Neill is, you know who William O'Neill is, right, Jack?
Give us a little bit of background so everybody can know who William O'Neill is.
If you've seen the movie Judas and the Black Messiah,
Mm-hmm.
the guy who set up Fred Hampton. That's William O'Neill. He worked for the FBI, and he later came out, and he later came out and said what he said. So I just want to make sure y'all.
He was their sleeper cell.
Yeah, he gave them the information to let them know where exactly he was resting his head, and that's when they came in. They even lied and said there was a shootout and this and that, and there was only 1 or 2 bullets that was fired from one of the Panthers' gun. There was over 100 bullets that were fired from the FBI agents that came in, and apparently Mr. Hampton was basically drugged, and he was asleep, and he was out, and they got him. Very informative information. Like I said, Professor Griff never disappoints when it comes to the info. I'm gonna just move on real quick. We talk about the types of disinformation agents, and he said they have their own lingo for the types of different disinformation agents they send against everyone else. So far, we have named only double and sleeper agents, just like you said, Jag. But here are some of their disinformation agents. It says agents of influence, and that's why we're going to talk about Dave.
You want to read it out?
I'm not. No, my bad. Go ahead. What are you saying? You want to read it out? Go ahead.
I was going to say maybe we should read it out so we can give everybody a good idea of what's going on.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we have agents of influence. These agents can be unwitting, under mind control, or ideologically motivated to use their positions of influence to sway the minds of others. Examples of agents of influence are anchormen on TV, journalists, labor leaders, TV commentators, academics quoted by the media, and some politicians. So if we were to let's take some names from right now and put them in these positions.
Well, you said academics. No, I'm just kidding. That's funny. But no, streamers. I'm gonna just say people in general. I'm not gonna go to no one specifically, but yeah, people that are streamers, people that are influencers, like he said, news journalists. There was a report that came out and it talked about these anchor men and women on these, and they repeat the same script. Everybody knows that. I hope everybody knows that, right?
I'm just saying, most of social media, like the simple fact that they now are calling themselves new media, it goes to show you, agents of influence. And let's just be clear how this started off. These agents can be unwitting, meaning not really have any idea what's going on, just being told what to say or encouraged of what to say.
Yeah.
Under mind control, ideologically motivated to use their positions of influence to sway the minds of others. So when you look at people like, and I know you don't want to put any names on it, but let's just be very clear. You got a Nick Fuentes, you got a Candace Owens.
Yeah, no. You can say
Kelly,
that, man. Megan Kelly, you got a Tucker Carlson. Yeah.
Let's look on social media. You got a Tasha K. You got a Cheyenne Bryant. You got, you know what I mean? Like, we could go further and further and further and further, but I think I just wanted people to really understand, look at our streamers. Our streamers now have become some of the most powerful, unwitting voices out there in media right now, because see, they're just sitting there entertaining an audience, talking, sharing their lives, saying whatever they're saying. But if they're being influenced to put out a certain kind of propaganda, the audience that's sitting there watching, you got a Touré. Yes, you do.
A Taurus.
You know what I mean? So
you got a Vlad.
that part. You got a no jumper. You got a Adam 22.
Yeah, agents of influence. Yeah.
You got a Joe Budden.
Pump it up.
you got a Charlemagne.
Yeah.
You know, so you got a Oprah Winfrey, you got a Gail. You know, like there's a lot. So, but I just wanted to, just to give people a little better insight, because sometimes we see words, we hear words, but we need to be able to make sure that we're connecting and understanding how it applies to what we see every day.
Yeah.
Confusion agents. Okay, an agent whose job is to produce confusion by what? Disseminating
Confounding
information. Okay, so like who would be a great confusion agent right now? Oh my goodness, Israel did it. Wait a minute, the feds did it. Wait a minute, there are planes from Egypt. Wait a minute, they were all at Tel Aviv. Wait a minute, Camp Riley. Wait a minute.
Wait all over the place and not saying nothing.
Wait a minute. I'm just saying. So, we have confusion agents and then contract agents.
Yeah.
These are the rogue agents, such as the mob or CIA, to get. I'm sorry. Or who the CIA get to do particular jobs on contract. Their connections can be denied.
Boom.
It's so interesting when we think about Watergate, how they pulled all of those people from out of the country who weren't citizens to pull off that job. You know what I mean? And of course, they tried to deny it all, as always. I mean, what about you? Do you have any other examples to like
any other contract agents?
Yeah, like who would you say could possibly be contract agents?
Again, and see, this is why I'm glad. Side note, I'm gonna say this. If you and I do like a live and we're doing it on the traditional way that we do it.
Oh yeah. We got to be more careful. My bad.
No, don't trip. What I'm saying is, it's funny because you'll be going like if you and I are side by side, we did a mobile upload and you're talking, and then maybe a couple of days later I'll find a channel that done took what you were saying, and they'll just crop me out and have you saying what you're saying, and then they of course it's good because what they do is they'll actually sometimes some channels will take what you said and then they'll back up with evidence, or somebody said this, or they'll have photos of this or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So but I'm saying I'm glad you're doing it like this. Like I'm cammed up, you're not cammed up. That's great. But you already know you got people out here that's what they do. They go on here and they look for anything that we can say, anything that we say, especially anything you say, and then they try to flip it or use it against.
I think it's wild when they crop you out, but anyway.
Well, I think they know better. Let me just say it like that. They know damn well. They know what time it is with me. But a contract agent would be, and I'm not scared to say, the cartels. Because we're gonna get deep into it, but just like he had the example of the mob, the Costa Nostra, right? But the cartels, I'm gonna tell y'all low key, and I've been peeping this for years, and Jag knows too. Like they've infiltrated a lot. You got a lot of white terror dominators, and they say white supremacists. That's what they say, but I say got to properly name them white terror dominators or white terrorists dominators. These are people who they practice what they call this, they think they're better than because of their race. They've infiltrated the law enforcement agencies all throughout the United States. That's been documented. The FBI even admitted that. And no one's really talking about the cartels. And I'm not even talking about like cartels like you think about the Mexican mafia and all them. I'm talking about, them too. but also, you know, the sugar cartels, the tobacco cartels, the yeah. That's another contract agent. All right, you want to move on with the next one?
Sure. The deep cover agent. And we're not talking about the record.
Yeah, and you don't stop.
Stop.
Yeah.
So, deep cover agents, a sleeper agent, often a programmed multiple or a person. I'm sorry. Let me reread that.
Says,
A sleeper agent, often a programmed multiple or person with mind control programming who has been a long-term sleeper agent.
yeah.
So, I mean, the truth is, if I was gonna be honest, like that's rappers.
Well, don't forget they had you down as a deep cover agent.
I
Someone,
know.
remember they had you. They said Umar. They said Charleston White.
Yeah.
They literally had you as a deep cover agent. But no, the rappers, the entertainers are the perfect examples.
Entertainers make great deep cover agents. You want to know what's funny? Why is nobody taking into consideration that Marilyn Monroe could have been a deep cover agent?
Mm. 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 Yeah. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
But I tell you one thing, people wouldn't have suspected it.
No, like I said, it's like because it's likely. It looks like it. That's what it looked like.
Okay, and then we have the disinformation agent. This is a highly placed agent who passes disinformation to other governments.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not even going to touch that one.
Yeah. Well, that one's heavy, but we could do a deeper dive on that on a members only. Is it notional agent, a fictitious or non-existent agent which is created with a real identity to mislead? Well, you got that. I guess can we say that with like faceless YouTubers and AI people?
And I mean, AI now, yeah.
Can we? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. That's but like you say, which is created with a real looking identity to mislead. That's a deeper dive in its own.
Mm-hmm.
Are you want to say the one at the bottom? Because then there's one more after that.
Yeah. A provocation agent. An agent sent in to provoke and destabilize the target group to do foolish things. You know, there was one name that just popped up. TN. That was the first thing that literally popped up.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I was about to say that because it looked like, because I'm gonna tell you this. When the reparations talk was talked about, I'll say it, I can say their names, Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell. They were really the first ones in this current conversation or this current generation to really get the ball rolling. Before that, though, you had In Cobra, and Siddiqui put me up on that. Shout out to him. He was telling me about In Cobra. I looked them up, and I think our good friend Friday Jones was connected to them too. I believe so. And then they were already the move was already moving. It was already boom. And you had somebody who came in and did exactly that. Provoke and destabilize the targeted group. Not gonna say who it is, but we know what it is. Everybody know what time it is. Shout out to Professor Small. Because he called it out too. So yeah, though, but right now, yeah. In other areas, you got the would that be the agent provocateur?
Yeah, an agent provocateur. But to a certain extent, if you look at the way Dr. U has been behaving.
Hmm. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that. We'll talk about that more in depth. Yeah, disinformationalist. And then I'm gonna read this other one because it didn't print out 100%, but y'all get the idea. Y'all understand what it is. The one that they have on the side, it said spoon feeder agent, and it's someone who dribbles out legitimate information. This is often done to build up a person's credentials. Lots of people who are pretending to expose the New World Order or spoon feeder agents who provide a little new information, tons of already known secrets, and sprinkle in a measure of disinformation for added fun. So generally, spoon feeders increase their percentage of disinformation once they gain respectability. There are very few people really exposing anything of consequence about the New World Order. This author has endured the loss of several of really legitimate whistleblowers who were friends, being unalive since he began to write and expose. He's so Griff is saying like he met like he knew a lot, and shout out to you, Jag, and that's why I said Jag Griff kind of ran so that Jag can fly, because in all honesty, he was like the first to just really do his thing, and all you did was just stood on his shoulder and kept it moving. He kept it moving, exactly, especially about the industry. And you and me, I know so many like real victims, and you keep them to your chest because you don't want to expose, you don't want to put nobody out there. Like I already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? I know what time it is with that. So like I said, shout out to you for that, for real. So those are the different agents, y'all. We got the agent of influence.
It's interesting that you read that last one, because, and not to sound crazy, or even, to make it seem like I'm trying to put a moniker or a label on someone. But when you said that, it just made me think about this special that Dave just did. Well, even down to the jacket he wore.
That's why I was saying. That's why I said what I said, and I said I'm going to tie in this Dave stuff because I'm actually put a pin in it, and I'm glad you said that. With that, because spoon feeder, and like I said, let's not look at Dave like he's a Malcolm or some, like, y'all really come on. We gotta snap back to reality. Dave is who he is. He's a comedian. So just but the spoon feeder side of the game,
Actually, Dave isn't just a comedian. Dave made another very realistic, honest admission about himself. He's a capitalist.
Oh yeah, he did say that.
He's a capitalist. He made it very clear that his quest for wealth and money and status is a very, very, very big part of the motivation behind everything that he does.
Yeah.
He was very clear about that.
Yeah. He was about buying the town and stuff. But like I said, I'm gonna go back to that. Again, we're reviewing chapter 2 of the Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop, Professor Griff's book. Y'all should definitely go get it. And I just wanted to talk just briefly because he got a this chapter alone is deep. But he has a blurb right here: NWA urged to stop recording by the FBI. And he mentioned the homie, Arabian Prince. Shout out to Arabian Prince. Shout out to Arab. I was just talking to him a few weeks ago about my technology stuff that I wanted to do. Actually, it was a few months ago. I'm not going to lie. But shout out to Arab. But he said federal agents officially asked Rap Pioneers NWA to stop recording after receiving a slew of complaints about their expletive-laden lyrics. In an essay written for America's Flaunt magazine, group co-founder Arabian Prince reveals he and his bandmates Ice Cube and Eazy-E received letters from the FBI officially asking them to stop releasing hardcore rap music. Prince's real name is Mick Leeson recalls, they told us to stop recording such music. Upon our arrival at every airport terminal, we received a visit from the police reminding us not to use profanity on stage in their town or face going to jail. But the Straight Outta Compton rap supergroup refused to acknowledge the threat against them because they felt they were on a free speech mission. That's right. Rappers right. The rapper writes, NWA is best known for their fight for freedom in speech, freedom of speech and expression. So, yeah, like I said, I just wanted to. That's why I said this topic is heavy, and it's a lot more detailed than, because the spoon feed agent and what you just said, we can put a pin on it with what you said about Chappelle being a capitalist. I wanted to just go further and talk about that, because if you are really interested in getting the knowledge, get this book, because it's deep. We're just stopping right there because I don't want to just be reading his whole book. But again, shout out to Griff, and he laid the foundation so that we could get busy and everybody can peep what's going on. So let's back up. In his special, the recent special that Dave Chappelle just did, the Unstoppable Ninja, he mentioned, yeah, Jack, he's a capitalist. He's about his paper. He's buying up all the houses, all the properties, the old fire stations in his town, so that he could, just own the town, And it's funny he said it like that, because it that's the reality of the day. Really, there's no rich and poor. It's still like feudal systems with the serfs and the lords. Because you heard him, they tried to sell that fire station behind my back when I left town, and then as soon as I got back in town, I had the poor whites coming up to me saying, "Look at Lord."
He didn't say as soon as he got back in town. He said they contacted him while they were out of town, and he said, "Guess what? I bought that fire station."
Yeah. He's a capitalist for sure. Definitely a capitalist.
And turned it into a venue.
Yeah, he said Mick Jagger. And like I said, y'all, again, Dave is not Malcolm X. So just, he's not a preacher. He's not, but he said he said it though. He's a capitalist. I believe him that he's buying up a lot of stuff in that town, and it's allowed to do that. Like I said, allowed. I but moving on though, and this is the other part of the conversation what I wanted to talk about. Shout out to and rest in peace to Nip Hussle. He mentioned Nip Hussle. He was introduced to Nip by Tip, T.I. And T.I., I guess. Why is that interesting?
Well, because T.I. is probably one of the only rappers in history to have committed the many offenses in the federal government that he did, was facing, I don't know how many centuries of years confinement.
And he did a year and a day
to walk away with, a light probation.
I almost forgot about that. See, I thought you was gonna say the Laura London connection, because he did Laura London. I mean, he did Laura London. Sorry, my bad. He did ATL with Laura London, and then Laura London ended up getting with Nip. Like, I thought that's where you were gonna go with it. I totally forgot about the G units. Wow. Okay.
He was caught with all kinds of firearms
Yeah,
Huge firearms that had silencer on them, military
yeah,
grade hardware.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
That ain't something that you know. That ain't
No, that,
something that you just nah. That ain't something that you just come on, y'all.
but I
Wow.
tell you one thing. If the federal government were looking for someone that they could use to infiltrate in the communities to gather information and gather intelligence, having somebody's entire life in your hand and then saying, "Hey, I'll let you go, just, holla back."
Yeah. Who was this? What did you say? It wasn't like currency, property, etc. Please revisit the story system. All right, I don't know what you're talking about, but no, to piggyback of what you're saying, infiltration,
Well, hold on.
perfect,
I'm not
perfect
understanding.
infiltrator. Well, no, let's not even address it because I'm not even. You already know, Jag. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Okay.
Let's not even. If they got something to say, they can continue. And I know the mods will figure it out. We got them. But Pete Game, perfect. What you just said about infiltration, and then him being introduced to Nipsey. Nipsey was a different kind of threat, y'all. Um, what we can say is Nipsey was community focused. He was economically independent. He was
Mhm.
globally minded. Remember that word. He was openly discussing ownership and sovereignty. He had
Mhm.
international ties, including interest in Africa and global black economics. And
Mhm.
historically, black figures with an international reach, economic independence, political influence have always been monitored. Um, so I'm not going to say some other stuff, but I'm going to say that there's a program, and again, shout out to Nip and his. We have us. And when I say us, I'm talking about freedmen Americans, Black Americans, and then Eritrean. And his lineage goes to Eritrea. One of his boys, Sandman Negus. Rest in peace to Sandman Negus. He was a real royalty, and he was from 6-0. I'm not making this up. He was real royalty. Look him up. His name was Sandman Negus, and he was real royalty in Eritrea. So Nip will go over to Eritrea and do his thing, do his stuff, and everybody, Sandman Negus come out and start rapping, and it's like it was like Michael Jackson. He was like Michael Jackson over there because he was a real prince. And then he came over here, and I mean he just was part of the whole drug. I ain't gonna say drug. I'll just say the hood lifestyle, the hood mentality. And I'm gonna do a live. I'm gonna do a talk about me. I'm gonna talk about this whole movement. They're talking about F the streets and what I think about F the streets. And we're gonna talk about this. But anyway, Sandman Negus, look him up. Real prince. You met Nipsey once? Yeah. I literally ran into Nipsey once backstage when Rick Ross was performing, and who was it? Rick Ross? I forget it, but I was backstage with like A. Marie and the homies and all that or whatever. Shout out to my boy Pure and all them. But yeah, Nip was cool, and I grew up in that same neighborhood. I'm like years older, like 7 years older than Nip, and his big homie Papalo. I gotta go holler at Papalo. That's my little homie. Not little homie like that, but he's just younger than me. But shout out to Papalo. And I knew a lot of the people that Nip knew. Nip was putting people on. Nip was about making things happen. Like you said, ownership. He had the international connections. He was about the technology. He was a different type of threat. Dave Chappelle said that he met Nip, and he said he felt like he was the oldest young ninja he ever met or something. That's what he said, right, Jack? Something like that.
Mhm.
And he wasn't dissing Nip. He was just saying he met
He was
him, and
wise. He was very wise for his years, and he made
Yeah.
him feel, like it was his old head.
Yeah.
And which was really interesting coming from Dave because I've never really heard Dave put that kind of moniker on anyone. The truth is Dave has always been very big at normalizing people amongst one another, never giving someone a higher status than another. He's always been that way. So
Yeah,
to hear him place that kind of reverence
yeah.
over Nip. And in all honesty, to me, I'm not gonna lie. When I was sitting there listening to it, I was deep down inside calling bullshit, saying, "You're milking this for everything it's worth."
Hold up, Jack. Before you go there, because yeah,
I'm just saying that's how I felt
no,
at
I
that.
know. This is I was because I'll say before you go there, and I got you. I understand where you coming from. Dave Chappelle though he was praising Nip, and
Oh, absolutely.
He framed Nip as a good man. He humanized him. Um, and Dave did a great job at that. Dave, and like I said, Dave is a comedian. He's not a
I mean,
historian. He's not an investigator, but he did a good job at telling the story. A very good job at telling the story of Nip and humanizing him. But I'm gonna tell you, he didn't tell you the whole story because he talked about the hip hop police prior to talking about Nip, and
yeah.
not and he said Puffy and Biggie were followed by the FBI
No, he
even up
said
to
they were the reason why the task force was created,
it was that's
and
why I
that's
said
not
that's
true.
not that see we'll talk about that. That's not true at all. Task force been created, and yeah, Nip well Puff and Big were being, I guess, tailed or followed by them or whatever. Up until that, and that's true. Him mentioning Nip, but then not mentioning the fact that, and then he mentioned Nip's, him wanting to, Nip wanting to produce a documentary on Dr. Sabi,
Yeah.
and that I think that's cap. Like if you like no, like he didn't say the government came after Nip because of that or nothing. Like it's kind of like implied that, but he didn't say it. But I think even that's cap because it's like, I mean, everybody know Dr. Sabi, and rest in peace to Dr. Sabi, and my man did good work. But I don't think they were coming after Nip because of that, y'all. I mentioned Sandman the Goose, and I said Sandman the Goose, he's African royalty. He ended up being unalive on the streets of LA, right there off of 48th and Crenshaw, man. Sad. It was sad. It was sad. It was like a couple of years before Nip, lost his life. And I'm under the impression that they've always had a task force, just like they had a hip hop task force to go after the hip hop guys. They got a task force for African Americans and Africans. Like you're not supposed to. They don't want that to happen. African Americans and Africans, no. That's why you got the FBA Adolf situation stuff and all that, and the delineate. And I get it because it's not just about delineating us blacks against other quote unquote blacks. Because when you get here, you're designated black. I think Asians are doing that too. You got Thai and Chinese and Filipinos and Vietnamese. They're not all the same. When I was young and ignorant, I thought they were all the same. And now I start going to school
Hold
with
on a
different
second.
Asians.
Hold on a
And I'm
second.
like, oh no,
Because
they're all different. I'm sorry, what happened?
no, we're having conversation, but I'm looking at the comments and I want to make sure that people aren't getting lost. Someone is asking whether or not Nipsey was playing the Tin Man in the Wiz.
Hold up. Okay, we're not gonna clown you, sister Christina Croc. That was Nipsey Russell, not Nipsey Hussle. That was Nipsey Russell. One of my favorite songs. What can I do? You know that song, Jack. Like I love that song. That sample, Nipsey Russell. I'm not finna laugh. That's some funny. That is funny. But no, not Nipsey Russell. Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle is right here. This dude right here. You got Griff. You got Nipsey Hussle, and you got Dave Chappelle with his back turn. No, like I said, though, you don't have to apologize. That's why I said I'm not going to even. Nip was in the whiz like the no, Alina. She's thinking of Nipsey Hussle. And Nipsey Hussle got the name. He got his name from Nipsey.
And we understand that, and that's why sometimes I like to slow the conversation down and make sure that everyone is following what we're saying, because not everybody knows everything, not everyone explains everything, and that's why sometimes I like to just take it, slow it down a little bit, and make sure that everyone is getting the accurate information.
No, Christina Crook, we appreciate you. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you even having an interest in this conversation and being here. But no, it's Nipsey Hussle. Look him up. Look up Nipsey Hussle. He's from the Crenshaw area of LA. And I'm sorry.
A very, very, very charismatic and monumental figure for the Gen Z generation and the late millennial generation in hip hop. He was an independent artist who was able to garner so much respect for his ideals on ownership and innovation, and leveling up and using technology to create financial freedom, rather than being a slave to technology. Very dangerous guy.
He was. I got questions, and maybe you can answer, or maybe the chat can answer. Why are cultural figures often remembered only in safe terms? Like, I think people don't realize, even Yeshua wasn't, all peace and love, like how people say he was turning up. He was ready to turn up for God. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? But why are cultural figures often remembered only in safe terms?
Well, this is the thing. Why do you think Malcolm X was, vilified, and Martin Luther King was glorified?
Was sanitized. They sanitized them, and they because supposedly, they were saying how Martin Luther King had all these. I ain't gonna go there. I only, see, my thing is this. I don't focus on helping the enemy demonize our own. So I'm not going to even say what they say. But yeah, they definitely vilified X and held King to a different regard. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they only remember our heroes in safer terms, in the safe terms, like like Nip. I mean Nip was rich rolling. He was a rider. He was what he was. But then the media today they really don't even really talk about a lot of his accomplishments like how they should. That's just what I think. That's what I think.
I don't know what you just said because the last couple of seconds cut out, but I don't know what happened, but I lost the audio.
You hear me now? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. No, I basically was just saying how they sanitize our cultural figures, and I was just saying why. I don't know why. Maybe hey, let me throw the link out there if y'all want to come up before we get out of here, and if you want to ask anything or if you want to make a comment, go ahead and do so. The link is in the
what
chat.
I'm going to say is I think that we should probably do a part 2 to this because there's really a lot that we haven't even discussed.
Oh, I know. I figured this will be an ongoing conversation, and that's why I said I'm not gonna because I was just gonna talk about the Psychological Covert War on hip hop, Professor Griff's book, and then tie it to Dave Chappelle's influence and stop where we were at with the different types of agents. And no one is saying that he's an agent, y'all. I'm not saying that Dave's an agent, but when we talk about the agent of influence, he definitely has influence.
Can we be honest? Everybody can be an agent. Anybody can be an agent.
True.
Like we were having that conversation the other day and just talking about in the Matrix, how they were talking about during training, how you had to be careful when you were in the Matrix because anyone could be an agent.
Anyone can turn. Anyone can turn.
Anyone can be a
Well,
vessel of destruction.
Tremel, what do you who you saying? Who is you, Tremel? Let me let you answer about that. What about a plant? Yeah, that's a different one. That's a plant is different. A damn plant. A plant is a plant, y'all. Um, you said me. You said I can be an agent. Barbara J, you want to bust him upside his head with the wrench? I'm gonna let my people handle that. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, number one,
Because
whoever this
I know
whoever this
damn well
trippy
I'm not an
person,
agent.
whoever this trippy person is, I'm going to explain to you why you're sitting over here being so emotional. Number one, you're being emotional because this is a conversation that most people aren't having openly in these public YouTube streets. Most people are busy sitting around trying to keep people confused and lost
Yep,
and a bunch of gossip and
yep,
doing reaction video after reaction video about absolutely nothing. The reason why you're saying that he is an agent is because you're upset that he's probably exposing you
exactly.
right now.
Yeah,
The reason why you're sitting here and you're upset and that you want to call someone an agent and create all kinds of, disinformation around what's actually happening here in this live is because you don't have a life of your own. Why aren't you live on your channel? Everyone has the ability to have a channel to
yeah,
say whatever they want to say,
yeah.
but you're over here trying to create upheaval and uproar and upset. So do yourself a favor rather than sitting here trying to tell somebody what they are on their channel, you go over to your channel and say whatever you'd like to say.
And
And let me
guys,
hear it to you.
and guys, let's do a little quiz. What type of agent is Tremel? Remember, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different types of agents. We have the agent of influence, we have the confusion agent, we have the contract agent, we have the deep cover agent, we have the disinformation agent, we have the notional agent, we have the agent provocateur, and we have that spoon feeder agent. Um,
I'm saying confusion. I think Tremel is a confusion agent.
Confusion agent, an agent whose job is to produce confusion by disinformation, confounding, by disseminating disinformation or disseminating confounding information. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
because that's what Tremel came over here to do. Tremel came over here to say that you are an agent, so nobody would listen to what you have been saying about all of this lovely information that was gifted to us by the great Professor Griff.
I'm gonna call him a agent provocation agent,
Okay.
because he came over here to destabilize the conversation. You say, what book is this? This is the Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop. This is the book. Just look it up. The Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop. I think the only other person that may have talked about this book online is Professor Griff, because it's by Professor Griff. I'm sure Black Dot didn't talked about it. Shout out to the Urban Nation, Urban X, and I'm sure Brother Rich talked about it. So shout out to them and the pills. That the red pill and blue pill. Them the homies. They be out in LA too. Shout out
You
to
want to
them.
know what we also could do? We could get the link to where these wonderful people can get this book.
Yeah, let
and
me pull that up.
We could
Yeah,
take it and put it in the description of this live.
there we go. That's what I'm gonna do right now.
So, I guess you're getting ready to put the link up.
Yeah, I am.
Let's can we, because see, you put Nip up there and you put Dave up there and you put Griff up there and you put the book up there, and then we got the information here, but I feel like there's a lot of this conversation that we're not we're not mending together. So are we
Okay.
gonna do a part 2 and go a little bit deeper? Because honestly, I feel like we just took lids off of a bunch of pots, but we didn't really put anything in there to cook.
Yeah, we can definitely do a part 2. If you guys want a part 2, we definitely could do that. Professor Griff got a website. I believe it's professorgriff.me. Let me make sure. And he's on YouTube, y'all. Professor Griff is on YouTube. Let me put his channel in the chat. Oh, they suspended his site. That's fucked up. But you know how they do. That's exactly how they do it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always promoting him. You know, I got so much slack for having Professor Griff. Oh yeah, okay, here it is right here. Progriff.com. That's his site. The Minister of Information. It was Professor Griff. I mean, I ain't caught up with him in a minute. He had that site. This is his new site, y'all, right here. I caught so much slack for having Professor Griff in my documentary Set in the West. So, you know, I had screened it at Cal Arts, and Medusa came through and actually hosted. Shout out to Medusa, because if y'all don't know who Medusa is, the gangster goddess, and her just contribution to hip hop, y'all sleeping. But I had her hosted, and you know they were like, well, you got this person, and they didn't want to say what they wanted to call him, because they wanted to call him something else. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Professor Griff, he Minister of Information. Why wouldn't I have him in my documentary? And see, that's the thing. I think a lot of people can't be scared. Like, if you're going to do a project, you can't be scared, because, you know, mainstream or Hollywood would looked at me, probably was looking at me crazy. Like, why you got to get Griff in your book? Okay, and I got Griff. And I had some, you know, people will say my documentary is biased because I'm like, well, I'm from the West Coast, and I'm talking about, well, you know, the origins of hip hop really started on the West Coast. And that looked like I look crazy. But no, I'm just putting out information. And that's what people are afraid to do. People are afraid nowadays to go against the grain. Shout out to you, Jag, because, you know, I don't think people are afraid to even say what you say, half of what you say. And people are definitely afraid of Griff and what he has to contribute and what he got to say. So shout out to Griff. That's his website. We'll have him on here, and we'll definitely do a part 2. So yeah, you know, what else we got, Jag? I mean, you know, you're right. We just kind of didn't even really get deep. You're right.
I'm just saying.
But I think it was enough to wet they whistle.
I don't know, I guess.
What did y'all think? Honestly, what did y'all? Yeah, exactly. Griff is the national treasure. That's right. What did y'all think, though, of just like I said, it's just a piece of that chapter. And again, like I said, I didn't want to just get out here and just, you know, read the whole book. I could have, and I could have went in hella deep, but I basically said, let me tie in all three of these brothers and really kind of give it a little bit of justice.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out where the tie is, because we ain't really tie.
Well, we did tie. Listen, I was tying in the fact that the covert war on the minds of hip hop, let's just say it like that. Dave Chappelle has the hearts and the minds of certain people within the hip hop community, right? Mm-hmm. They look at him as an intellectual, or they'll look at him as like his comedy is very smart, and I agree. The way he was moving and stuff, you know, he didn't take that deal with Comedy Central, and you know, he went against the system, and he, you know, so he had the minds and he has the minds and the hearts of a lot of people in hip hop.
And meanwhile, when he did that, he was at his all-time influential low.
Yeah.
The voice of his influence was literally completely cut off, and it wasn't until he signed the deal with Netflix
Yeah.
After he went back and jumped right in, hands and feet into pop culture on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live is ran by media giants who are attached to the yarmulkes.
Yeah. And the tie-in is, so the tie-in was Dave being an agent of influence. And I'm not saying an agent like a bad thing. Griff talked about the hip hop police. Dave Chappelle on his new special talked about the hip hop police. He also talked about Nipsey Hussle.
Did he talk about hip hop police, or did he say that they existed and then pointed people in the absolute wrong direction?
What he did was Dave Chappelle reminds us that even the honest storytellers, they still got to operate within boundaries, right? So he mentioned it. He didn't talk about it. You're right. He mentioned it.
He didn't talk about a lot of things. With all the things that he talked about, there was a lot that he didn't talk about.
Right. But that's the tie-in.
I'm just, is that a tie-in?
That's the tie-in, because he really, like you say, he has his boundaries. You just said NBC. Of course he ain't gonna be saying some crazy stuff. But listen, you said the yarmulkes, you said NBC. What did he say his cold message would be? I stand with Israel, right? That's what he said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you don't have to say it when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Why would he need to say, I stand with Israel is the code that they really got me, when you actually are standing with them? Like, I think that's the thing that nobody's really paying attention to. It was very clever. It was very clever because there's absolutely no way he's signed to the deals that he's signed to. He's doing the things that he's doing. He's saying the things that he's saying and making the money with the people that he's making the money with here in the United States.
Yeah. Well, see, look, that whole tie-in is a different convo. I would take Nipsey out of the thumbnail and I would put Dave Chappelle, because Dave Chappelle's supposed to be Muslim, or is Muslim. I believe Griff is Muslim.
Chain smoking Muslim.
Not Griff. You talking about Griff?
No, Dave Chappelle is a chain smoking Muslim.
But see, I would have a conversation about that, and I just believe certain Muslims don't look at real, like they don't look at racism the same way like just black people look at it in America, or they're not going to do anything about it. I'll say it like that. So I think Dave, in a sense, showed me, because if he's talking about, yeah, you can go over to Saudi Arabia and say this and do this, and it's like, nah, bro. I mean, I get it. They broke you off and they paid you, but
no, they didn't break him off. They didn't pay him. They paid him more than they paid anybody else, is what he said.
Well,
he said, I am a capitalist, is what he said.
Right.
The way he talked about the hip hop police and then took it and framed it to make it seem like only Biggie and Diddy were being watched by the feds, and that he's been being watched by the feds all of these years. And now, why now? Why now? Yes, why now? Why now? And more importantly than that, why is your special promoting this deviant on the same platform that 50 Cent? Like, if I were to look at Dave Chappelle's special and the 50 Cent documentary series, I would definitely say that you have spoon feeder and provocateur eating on the same platform, where all of the money is being made, based of one topic.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, y'all, we'll do a part 2. I'm scratching the surface on it intentionally, but you were asking about the tie-in, and that's the tie-in. That is the tie-in.
Even more than that, the way he used Nipsey as a beloved figure, and talked about how great he was, and talked about how this he was, and how he was taken out by a nobody.
Yeah, that's.
And then after he says, look at that, and this really wonderful, great guy, and he got taken out by a nobody. And meanwhile, then he brings in the Dr. Sebi situation, and he talks about Dr. Sebi, and he talks about how Dr. Sebi was taken to court, and Dr. Sebi this and Dr. Sebi that, because he said he could cure this and he said he could cure that, but he took his friend to Dr. Sebi and his friend died.
Well,
and meanwhile, in the midst of all of that, he didn't say anything about Nick Cannon being brought in as an agent as well
to sanitize that damn shit,
to completely sanitize the whole story, because just recently even Dr. Sebi's son came and sat down on the blue couch over there with Real Life and made it very clear that Nick Cannon came in to derail his father's legacy intentionally, and that Nick Cannon is nothing but a liar and a scam artist who the Yarmulke people brought in so people would lose confidence in the Sebi protocol for living.
Speaking of Nick Cannon, I remember not too long ago, Griff sat with Nick Cannon, and just like I told y'all, I caught hell. And well, let me go back to what you said about Dave saying that, you know, Nip was unalived by nobody. Well, the government is not a nobody. I'll just say it like that. I'm essentially a nobody, and I did a documentary, and I included Griff, and I caught hell. Griff just sat down with Nick Cannon, and Griff didn't even say nothing. Griff didn't say not a word, and Nick Cannon just started this, that, and he got attacked for what he said. Ain't that a bitch? Like Nick Cannon got attacked for what he said about, I guess he was like praising and giving admiration to Griff. And Griff, like I said, Griff didn't say nothing. Griff didn't go off, and it would. And I found that funny. I found that very interesting. Very interesting.
I think it's interesting, like the whole conversation with Nipsey wearing the jacket with Kaepernick's name on it. And it's funny because he wore the Kaepernick jacket, but he didn't say anything about Kaepernick at all in this special.
Yeah. Well, he did not say a lot of stuff, and like I said, him being a storyteller, a comedian, he's limited.
With a background in education. A lot of people keep forgetting he comes from a background of educators. He was raised by educators, so he understands how to teach.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And but at the same time, he still has boundaries with his storytelling, and that's one thing I definitely look. He at least is getting the conversation started, and he got me going. And I'm not on some, you know, I'm anti him, but I can call out bullshit, and I called out the bullshit. And we talked about it yesterday with the Umar and him. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what this is. I definitely see what this is. Yeah, we'll just have to do a part 2. I'll put the link up if anyone wants to come up and say anything. Feel free to hit the link. But we're definitely going to further this conversation. We're gonna further it because it's needed. I think it's needed. And again,
this is your fault because you put up the list of agents.
Yep, I sure did.
Wasn't trying to get into it.
I sure did. This is my closing time music. What up?
Hey.
Yeah, y'all. The agents though, like that in itself, the different agents, y'all will start looking at y'all fellow YouTubers or your YouTubers that you are subscribed to. You'll start looking at them differently now when you take a look at that list of those 8, 9 different types of agents. Which one do they fall under? You say, why you think they locked up Charles Manson for so long for arson? Yeah, they were trying to get Charles Manson on the Mann Act too.
Yeah,
they were. I really want to sit down with like a historian about the Manson stuff, and you know, I got some goofy stuff I'm gonna pull up next year with, you know, Compton High, the only basketball team that went like 68-0 back a long time. I got the footage, and I'm gonna show y'all that. I was gonna do a documentary or be a part of a documentary, but I'm just gonna do a little video, just kind of whatever. But the Manson stuff and everything that was going on, it's funny. I was just up there that night doing some work, the other night doing work, and that was just like, this place is creepy. Lower Canyon Boulevard, you start getting to the top, it's creepy up there, especially at night. It's still creepy up there at night. Are we doing a no, I'm gonna do a year in review. I think Jag is too. We're gonna do a year in review. Maybe we'll do a New Year's Eve. Yeah, we're gonna do a year in review. What do you think, Jag? What you want to do?
I don't know. I've already checked out of this year.
Me too. I'm already moving like it's
out of this year. I think
I'm moving like
back.
No, we could. But I'm moving like it's 2029, where they trying to put men on the moon. They really trying to put men on the moon. Y'all know that, right? I'm gonna talk about that too, because that's a whole psyop thing that they watch.
I want to know what I don't understand. Why is everybody so busy trying to leave here when they haven't even mastered how to be here?
I don't know.
But you just gonna go up there and be dysfunctional up there too?
Master the third dimension before you move on to the fourth.
I don't get it. I think, it might not be a bad idea to just take a walk through memory lane, because the truth is that this has been a really interesting year. It's been a really interesting year overall. It's been a really interesting year for me, for you, for us. There's a lot that's happened, and there's a lot more. There's a lot more that has come to fruition. Because the truth is a lot of what we dealt with this year, we dealt with it head on from how things came at us. But now that some time has passed, you can see what was going on. So I don't know. It might be, it might be important.
Well, I was just going to do, in fact, I'll show y'all. I was just going to honestly do like a live stream and not even get personal. Like I was just going to do, so here's my thumbnail. Like the goofy shit that y'all see that person behind Kendrick look crazy. I'm gonna have to change that, do something
Why
different.
in God's name do you got that demon doll up there?
That's my year in review. The demon doll and the demon saying, the 6'7" kid, which they got my little baby talking about 6'7". Oh my God! It's like, ugh.
Why?
So this is.
Don't people realize that that's a psyop, and that if your children,
I know it's some
are saying that,
you gang-ish.
No, but you need to stop your child from saying it, because
Exactly.
they're using it. No, they're using it.
Yeah, I know. Same thing with the demon doll, the boo boo. Like, and then this is my year in review. I was just gonna talk about BS pop culture stuff,
you know, the well, I ain't gonna say BS with Kendrick, but the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl that set off a lot of stuff. That was, you know, that was a high for us. We was great. We was happy, you know. But then, you know,
we were excited. We were very, very, very excited about it. You know, especially when you look at it was at the top of Black History Month and everything that went on. And it's wild because starting from that Super Bowl, it's been nothing but dissension in this country ever since.
Man, it was exactly. But that would be my
year in review, to be honest. Like I didn't want to get too much into personal, like members, of course, we could do personal, talk about personal stuff, but I'm not, for the public, nah. And that's basically what I was gonna do. So y'all can tune in for that. Auntie Lee, are you doing a year in review or something like that? I don't know. If you are, we'll be there. We'll be there. Archangel Michael, let me give a shout out. It's Archangel Michael. I see Barbara J and Alina, Kiki James. Yeah. That's a good one too. There's so many crazy things that done happened. It's like that's a whole.
Shout out to LP and shout out to Classic Music who stopped through earlier.
Oh yeah, Classic and LP, of course, them the homies. Crystal Media, Janine Taylor, the one and only King, Archangel Michael, the quiet one, Teresa Singh, and
stopped through earlier.
Arcadia, appreciate you. And I appreciate everybody who falls in and Christina Crook. That was hilarious. That Nipsey Hussle. I'm not laughing at you. That was funny though. Like Nipsey Hussle, not Nipsey. It's Nipsey Hussle was on the Wiz. Nipsey Hussle is who we were talking about. So, but you know, we're here to just, you know, educate. Fran Claudia, okay, and Yvonne Wildrich. All right, okay.
And the
agent. Barbara J. Thank you. What'd you say about the agent?
I said, and to Trimmel, the agent, please.
Don't we
ain't mentioning his name. Don't say his name. Anything you want to say? Are we getting a live from you today? I know the Sabbath is done.
I don't know.
You've been getting a lot of people pissed off, and you ain't saying nothing but the truth.
I mean, apparently, you know, that's my sad little gift. I piss people off. So, I don't understand why. But you know, oh well. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to keep pissing people off then, if that's what it is. If that's what, you know.
I mean, you piss them off. I ain't mad. I got your back. And I'm glad you called out Torre's punk ass.
It was so interesting. I actually saw a short that someone put up talking about Jaguar Wright is being warned by big homie CC. And I'm like, oh, wow, he's warning me again?
Wait, what did he say? This is new?
Like, yeah, something that I saw. I didn't bother to watch it. I'm just
send it to me. I'll check it out.
I don't know.
I said I got. In fact, as soon as I get off of this, I need to hit up Turtle. I need to hit my homies up. We need to just have a conversation.
I'm like, wasn't he warning? No, wasn't he warning?
He was warning you last time. Yeah. It's who high. Let me see who they talking. It's who high.
You already know what they trying to say.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Let me get some clarification. Anyway,
you want to know what I found? I find super funny, super duper 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 funny.
What's that?
It is going on now. I'm 6 going into 7 months of full sobriety.
Drug free.
No,
congratulations.
I haven't smoked any cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
haven't drank any alcohol, nothing, none of that. And like, it's wild because, that was a part of my life for years. And it's like now, ever since I quit, now all of a sudden, I keep hearing people say, "Oh my God, she sounds high. Oh my God, she's on drugs. Oh my God, she's this. Oh my God, she's that." And it's like, wow, really? Okay.
No, to be not high in this world is very hard, because I'm not high in this world. I'll drink wine every now and then, and yeah, congratulations, because I definitely understand. I get it. I understand why people do certain things, because yeah, this world is crazy. But then they want to put that on you because that's what they want. See, the thing is in all honesty, what you're going to start doing, you've done a lot this year. All of your accomplishments, guess what? You ain't even got to announce them. I think especially next year, there's going to be a lot of better opportunity, greater things coming your way. And you know how they say, like, be careful who you tell your wishes to or your goals to. You get what I'm saying? Because some people prey on you not even achieving them. Like, they really have that in their mind. Like, oh my God, I want that bitch to get nothing. It's like, why are you that invested in hating? Like, it's crazy.
But Auntie Leah, I know they don't know what to do with me sober. And it's funny because, like, people are very invested in a lot of interesting things, that I will say. But whoever thinks that I'm drunk or I'm high, sorry to disappoint you. I am more sober than any judge you've ever met or Catholic priest. And yeah. It's just me. It's just
Janine
me.
Taylor, I appreciate the donation, so I appreciate it. But yeah, I guess this is another 2-hour live. I normally try to do these hour and a half or something like that.
Yeah,
moving forward,
every time I'm around, things just seem to drag on.
No, it's all good because you just add on to the convo as you should, so it's great. But yeah, moving forward, I think I probably would be doing a lot more. Like, if we're gonna get deep, I could just sit with the members, and I appreciate all the members and stuff, and we could do deeper dives in all this. So there'll be a part 2, whether it's gonna be public or members, I don't know, but it'll likely be members, because there's so much in this book. There's so much. And again, shout out to Griff, and we'll be coming to see you, man. I think it's about time. All right. I think that's it, right?
Is it?
Oh, only got 79 likes. That sucks. Y'all hit the like button, please, before y'all get up out of here.
And replay gang. Come on, get us 500 likes over here too. Appreciate you.
Yeah, that'll be great. Appreciate it. All right, y'all. Peace.
Wolf gang, where you at, man? Wolfie.